All right, guys, so I did a video on this already about the this Laka character that True Reporting read a tweet from, I forget where the actual thread originated, but this guy Thomas on True Reporting actually read the intended message from what seems to be I don't know, it says this person refers to themselves as we, so I don't know who we are exactly, but I covered it in the other video, so I wasn't done with that, because there's more to that. See, I know for a fact we're going to hear more from this Laka character. What I'd like to do is take you guys back and show you exactly what I'm talking about. So, because I want to do this as quickly as possible. I know I take a long time getting to the point sometimes, and I don't want to do that. So let me try to quickly get to the point here. I'm going to start here. Okay, this is what Thomas on True Reporting included in one of his most recent videos, and I'm going to play this for you. If you're a Christian and you're involved in this Q movement, get out of it. It's satanic. It is demonic. Get out of it. Because you're going to start seeing some really crazy things happen.
End out the podcast on a high note, a couple things real quick. The greatest warriors prepare themselves each morning with prayer. I encourage you to do the same. These times are trials of the soul. You cannot walk this path and carry these burdens alone. Find time each day to pause, reflect, and be thankful, to let God strengthen and heal. Absolutely. And for Mark Taylor, to all those that said justice wasn't happening, think again. This is putting the fear of God in the cabal right now. This is preparing the public, soft disclosure for what is really coming for them. Justice is here.
Oh yeah.
And finally, I do want to show you this. This may rub you the wrong way, but I do want to show you this anyways. Friends of light, which we are, in every waking dream, there have been stories and watchful eyes on the sky. Sometimes it was religion or doctrine, and sometimes it was for the return of the sky gods. Humans have always needed another, or others to come and save them from themselves. You are living in perilous times indeed, and many may cry out to God for help. Many perceive that God is in another place, and your human mind must call out to this perceived male figure that perhaps will answer you if you call enough. We offer you the truth that God is everything. Every fiber of your being and each space between the cells is God. All of the nature, the trees and the ground, the air you breathe and the ground beneath you is God. So in these moments of perceived chaos, go within and remember the words of Jesus when he spoke. Do you not know you are all God's? The sacred life that you are is speaking to you each moment. You are whole and complete. You are sacred love. And your creation moment in another level of consciousness, in a very high density vibrational frequency, you were born as an aspect of God. In that sacred moment, you knew this. You remain perfect now. Have many simply forgotten as they have traveled the multiverses and lived challenging stories of love and loss, of new technology in one story, which was mastered in another? You are one, living as many. Remember, where we go one, we go all. We are God's children. I am you, and you are me.
And that's Thomas saying
Your
that.
soul is an individual,
That's him.
but the essence of God is the same. You have arrived in this dream with so many of your friends and family, now playing roles and holding mirrors for your growth and expansion. Now, when you look towards the skies, we remind you that we are there in many places, yet it is not to save you. The reason for our presence is to guide you home. For soon you will remember everything. You will understand that all happening on your planet is working for you and not against you. It is all part of a bigger thing, right guys? This is the Great Awakening.
This guy's an idiot.
For everything must unfold to completion, and there is nothing you must do but be the love that you truly are. Stop looking to another to fill something inside you that only you can do. For soon we will rise as one in the sacred light.
No other man,
I love
no
you
other
all.
person.
Laka. Guys,
Okay, yeah,
I feel like that was a great way to end the
think you're an
podcast,
idiot.
and I
This
hope
guy's a complete freaking moron. He's a blasphemous moron. So But I wanted to, what I wanted to do is this, because, on its face, this is blasphemy. It's another doctrine besides, what Jesus told us. Jesus told us the truth already. So, I know what they're trying to pull. I have been digging a little bit, and I know what they're about to try and pull. This right here, when he says, let me make sure I don't want to misquote him. Let me hold on a second. I just wanted to play it through one time, all the way through without interruption, because I wanted you to hear all of that from this guy's blasphemous mouth.
Playing roles and holding mirrors for your growth and expansion. Now, when you look towards the skies, we remind you that we are there in many places, yet it is not to save you. The reason for our presence is to guide you home.
Now, first of all, we're not here to say, I don't know who we are, and I don't know why this guy, Thomas on True Reporting, is taking this thing seriously enough to present to us like, it's legitimate, but this thing is picking up steam. This thing is bigger than I thought it was. It's not just a simple little tweet that Thomas decided to put. This thing had kind of, I guess, caught on. I'll show you that in a minute. But when he said, and let me find that part because this is important.
For soon you will remember everything. You will understand that all happening on your planet is working for you and not against you. It is all part of...
First of all, we're here to guide you home. When I think of going home, I think going home to the Lord, to be with my Heavenly Father from whence I came, So that involves death, and then, going home to be with the Heavenly Father. So when they say, we're here to guide you home, what are they talking about? Through death or what? Soon you will remember everything. Now, what that makes me think about is, it's commonly said that when you die, at the moment of death, your whole life flashes before your eyes. Now, in a spiritual context, that makes sense, because as a spiritual being, when we return to spirit, when we're right there on the edge of death, it would make sense that we're entering into the spiritual realm where we would have total recall. As our spiritual beings, we're not hindered by the physical flesh anymore. So at the moment of death, yes, the whole life would flash before the eyes. You would pass on into the next world, be dead in this one. And so that, I think, is where that saying comes from. So what are these people saying? They're here to lead us to our deaths? I don't get that, and he doesn't explain it, and it just is kind of creepy to hear. But and we will remember everything. I haven't forgotten anything, so that I know of. And if I've forgotten it, probably maybe I wanted to or whatever. I don't know, but I don't want you to remind me I'm coming up to something here. Hold on a second.
The bigger thing, right, guys? This is the Great Awakening. For everything must unfold to completion, and there is nothing you must do but be the love that you...
This is what I wanted to show you right here. Please listen to this right here.
The sacred life that you are is speaking to you each moment. You are whole and complete. You are sacred love. And your creation moment in another level of consciousness, in a very high density vibrational frequency, you were born as an aspect of God. In
another high frequency density, another high frequency something, the density, they're talking about high frequency. That's when you were knowledgeable of that you were God or something like that, right? Well, this is not something to be taken alone by itself. This thing that Thomas is floating out there to us. Don't take this by itself, because this works hand in hand with something that Dave on the X22 report put out. The high frequency thing, I'm going to show you where the high frequency thing is, and don't you go to it, don't you listen to it. Do not go to this video, because that's where you'll remember everything. And the high density frequency thing, they're getting ready to program you people with some high density frequency crap, and then they're going to tell you that this guy Laka is representing some alien being or something that's going to enlighten everybody. It goes in hand with everything Trump is doing about the miracle cures and all this other crap that's going on right now, that none of it fits into, it doesn't fit into this world. They're conforming this world to fit it. This whole 5G world that they're creating, this AI artificial world. But this plays hand in hand, this whole high frequency thing, with what Dave is doing. Hold on, let me show you what Dave is doing in regard to this.
This is post 4,460. These are from June 13th. Gives us a YouTube link. Now, this YouTube link is very interesting because when you look at it, there's no real video. It's just music. And then when you get to the middle part of it, a voice comes on. And this is pretty much what it says. As you hear sound coming up in your head, I want you to listen to the sound of my voice, just as if it were noise. Don't try to make any sense of what I'm saying because your brain will take care of that automatically. You don't have to try to understand anything. Just listen to the sound. As you hear sounds coming up in your head, you simply listen to them as part of general noise going on, and soon you will find that so-called outside world and so-called inside world will come together. They are a happening, and everything is simply a happening. And all you're doing is watching it. That's what the voice says.
That's what the voice says.
So everything that we see right now is simply a happening.
Oh, it's a happening. So what you're saying?
And all we're doing is
everything that's happening right now. Everything we're seeing right now is simply a happening. Do you see how quickly he embraced that notion? Okay, the link to this video that just plays music, and I'm thinking a high density frequency music that's going to activate maybe something that they have put into us. Do not go to this, do not click on this link, and do not watch this video. Do not subject yourself to this high frequency thing so that you can remember and they can take you home. No, 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 no. Don't do it. My advice is don't do it.
Lorraine, my density has brought me to you.
What?
Oh, what I meant to say was...
Wait a minute. Don't I know you from somewhere?
Yes, I'm George McFly. I'm your density. I mean, your destiny.
But if you type it in, it comes up. A thread written by A. Kabamur Tegeta. Okay, so this is a thread written by this person. So I don't really know all about it. I haven't really, I haven't done a dig into this yet. This is the start of the dig that I'm going to do into this whole thing. Although obviously it's out there and it's bigger than just true reporting. He's not the only one who is disseminating this thing, whatever it is, a condition, a event, a circumstance. I don't even know what to call this phenomenon. But I'm going to dig into it a little bit, and I will get back with you guys and let you know what I find. But I do want to tell you this: whatever I find, I know this. It's satanic. It's demonic. It is not of God. And so when Thomas, as true reporting, sets himself up as some kind of spiritual guru for you, don't follow Thomas. Thomas can't even read. Thomas can't even read. He takes a sentence and butchers it to death because he can't pronounce simple words that most people learned in 3rd, 4th grade. So, and I did a video on that. I just haven't got around to uploading it yet just because all this other stuff comes up. And this is more important than poking fun at Thomas being illiterate. But my point anyway is just that do not listen to this here, and here it is. I'm going to show you. Do not listen to this. For all we know, this could be the mark of the beast. This could be what indoctrinates you. And because they said, as you listen to this, the outside world is going to blend together with the inside world, and soon you will remember everything. So I don't know if I want them implanting memories. And why do I say memories, implanting memories into my head? Why do I say that there's a possibility that they could implant memories into my head? Well, perhaps because the method for doing that was discovered, I don't know, a decade ago. So I just want to show you that there's a possibility that maybe you don't have to get the brain implant. Although I'm sure many, many people will be more than willing, more than happy to get that brain implant, the chip in the, the mark of the beast on the forehead or in the forehead, I'm quite sure that many people will be willing to do that and just follow this Laka character, this antichrist. But if you want to know a little more about why I say that, here's why I say that. About maybe you don't need the chip to get the chip in your brain. They've been, I don't know what they've been dropping out of those planes in those chemtrails, but there's a new technology out there, folks, and you need to be aware of it. Here we go.
So apparently this actually is artificial life, and it's able to grow.
They call that the nanotechnology.
Nanotechnology.
Artificial life that is able to grow. They call it nanotechnology. Very, very small. Like maybe in the crop dusting, smart dust. Could it be that small? Look at this.
Imagine that.
Smart dust. This side you can see. What's happening here is what is inside, like this. This is from inside coming out.
Okay.
And it's nothing to do with the roots. Is more the matter is changing.
Okay.
And webbing. That's what the mission. See, the little one. That's why it's fractal. You have a big one and you have a small one. And when you look at the small one deeper, you can see there is a small one on top of the small one.
Up to how many times in terms of in micro sizes can you go in?
Oh, that one I can go to 1,000 times.
Oh boy.
1,000 times.
You see?
Oh jeez.
So
All right.
here, what's happened? He break. Okay, because for some reason, when you pick it up, the dust, or so the head of the dust break. So after that, he go all over the place. 1,000 head go and he go on their ways.
Do you hear this,
Each one
folks?
becomes.
See, that's why I say, he said the head of this breaks and 1,000 of these things go. And they all, so these things are really incredibly small. And they're living, I don't know what it is, but you heard what the guy said. These things are so small, they could be released into, and you got to keep it in perspective with this whole 5G grid and the smart dust that makes the city recognize you. Well, what's that working with to recognize you? Maybe some of this nano stuff that's in our bodies? I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there.
After that, he go all over the place. 1,000 head go and he go on their ways.
Each one
That's
becomes
off of one
one
of them.
again and continues and then just takes this.
Yeah, each one of them.
And here you can see you have a glass on top of the glass.
Wow.
Okay, this is the lamelle, and on top of it there is another glass. So it's not my breath or something like that to make them move.
Okay. It's
Because-
actually sandwiched inside.
Yes, it's a
So
sandwich.
if it's sandwiched inside there and it's still able to move the way we saw it move,
Still moving,
Yeah.
then
But for the wealthy
That's
elite,
nanotechnology.
their
there,
fears
folks.
went beyond.
That's what that is nanotechnology. And that's why I say maybe it's not necessary now for them to implant the chip in your brain to get you connected to that, bring that outside world into that inside world together. So just be careful what you do in terms of what you accept, because I'm advising you to get out of that Q movement if you're in it. Get out of it. And do not, under any circumstance, go click on that link that Q left to watch this video so that the outside world and the inside world will come together as you listen to some voice. If you're a Christian, don't do that, because you may be giving up your humanity and your salvation if you do that. What's going on, folks? The wheat and the tares are being separated. If you take the mark of the beast, if you become buy into this transhumanism, if you take this nanotechnology, you have to reject it. You have to reject that and reject Satan and turn to Christ, turn to the Lord, Yahushua, Christ Jesus, because this nanotechnology, this transhumanism, that's the mark of the beast. See, Jesus didn't die for machines. Jesus died for mankind. So whatever you do, please do not buy into any of these things that this alien lockout person and True Reporting and the X22 report, Q. Don't buy into any of what they're selling, because what you're selling is your eternal soul. Don't do it. And please remember that, the Bible tells us that in the end times, man will seek death and will not find it. He will not be able to die. Can you see how if you allow them to transfer your consciousness into some nightmarish, cyber place where you can't escape from, and you're being subjected to all kinds of cyber nightmarish experiences that you don't want, and you can't escape and you can't die because they have hijacked your consciousness, your awareness, and you can't die. They keep talking about immortality. Well, wouldn't it make sense what the Bible's saying about wanting to escape death and not being able to find death? Be very careful what you allow these people to have you do. I'm going to leave you with this. This is going to explain further in depth what they're doing with this whole, listen to this thing. The technology to upload your brain into this Internet of Things, that may already be inside us. They've been spraying us with stuff. They've been putting stuff in our food. I don't know. This nanotechnology could already be inside us. They may not need to implant the chip. I don't know. But here is what they have planned for you. And they've been planning it for years with these TED Talks. These are among the people that this fella here is talking to in that audience are among the most brilliant people in the world. Okay? Understand who he's talking to. These are the TED Talks, same people that Bill Gates goes out and talks to. These are the brightest minds. These are the most intelligent minds in the world he's talking to. These people can pull it off and have pulled it off. And who is their intended targets for this work that they've done? You. So just know what's going on. Know what you're getting into. I'm going to leave you with this.
We will be living in a whole nother reality that is blending information, sensory information, data information, memories, all of this from all.
Did you hear him say a whole new world that's blending? Outside world blends in with the inside world?
Around the world in this vast internet. And that will and can happen.
Will happen.
So let's go even further.
You heard him.
Experiencing other lives. So all of us experience things in our life. But now we will be able to have many lives.
Many lives.
You can have many lives because you can access other people in other places and live through them. And if you want to think about this, it can be almost like heaven. Why do I say this?
Yeah, why indeed?
Because if you study every major religion in the world, every religion,
here we go.
Buddhism, Christianity, Hinduism, what those religions promise us.
Do you like how this guy just lumped in Christianity, Buddhism all together?
Is that we will escape our bodies.
Now keep in mind, these are the people that you're following with the Q movement. These are the people who Q is now telling you that they're introducing you to this laka where they're here to guide you home and go to this, play this video where, as you listen to my voice, the outer world and the inner world meld together. These are the people who are doing this. I'm showing you the people who are behind what the Q movement is now introducing you to. It is the Q movement introducing you to this. And these people talking about, we will be as gods. These are the people who are bringing it to you. It's blasphemy.
In the future, we will go to some heaven or nirvana,
we'll go to heaven,
or a state of non-being, or a state of inclusiveness with everybody. No longer will we and our consciousness be confined to our bodies as an individual. In fact, if you look at us right now as a human being, if I feel pain, if I'm in pain, nobody else can feel the pain I feel. If you're in pain, I can't feel your pain. I can feel sorry for you. I can empathize with you, but I cannot feel your pain. But in this world, we will actually be able to feel the emotions of other people. You can actually not just transfer data and sensory information, but emotions.
So if I'm feeling like complete shit, I can make you feel like complete shit. Is that kind of where you're getting at? Why would we want to feel somebody else's emotion? Because There's a danger in it, and he's getting to that.
Know your pain, you would know our pain, and human beings would never be alone.
Sometimes I want to be alone.
So, we will come to a point where we, as God...
Folks, folks, did you hear what he just said? We as humans will never be alone. Do you understand what he just said right there? You'll never be alone. Why? Because you're connected to this internet of things, and everybody else has access to your mind. You can hear... They're wanting to connect you to a network in your mind, your brain. You'll never be alone again. Well, what if you want to be alone? Well, there's a problem, because you can't be, and you can't escape death.
We will come to a point where we, as gods, will be creating our own reality.
As gods.
We will be redefining what the human experience is for the first time in history. This can happen, and it will happen.
It will happen. He says we as gods. Do you hear this, folks? This is what the Q movement is leading you to. These are ungodly people. This is what Satan wanted, to be as God. Is that what you want? You can't be, because you can't be.
But what we want to think about is this. Technology is really powerful.
Oh, yeah.
The internet, being connected, is really powerful. But we've already seen, in a very primitive way, just with our cell phones, these primitive devices, how it can totally change our life. Like all of our lives are changed by WeChat. All of our lives are changed by the internet. Well, we are embarking on a path now where we will become the internet. The internet will become us.
Do you hear that? This Laka thing. The ground is God. The air is God. We are all one. Everything is one. Do you hear where this is coming from, folks? Does this not sound familiar? You go back and listen to Laka again and listen to this guy. This guy, I don't know, 10 years ago, whatever this TED Talk was back then, is describing what they're rolling out right now without your permission, and they're going to hook you up to it. They're not asking you, would you like to be connected to the internet? They're telling you, go to the site, click on the link, watch the video, a voice is going to lead you into this crap. They're not telling you that it is this TED Talk crap. They're telling you that it's Laka from some other planet and he's going to save us, man. Do not go for it.
It will be inseparable. We'll have our storage and everything else all over the place. And when we do that, we have to understand that this is a big responsibility.
Oh, yeah.
It's something we as a society, we as the human race, must think about very, very carefully. Because imagine, people can hack your cell phone now.
Yeah.
People can hack your computer.
Yeah.
And it can be bad. They can steal your banking information, take all your money. They can steal your identity.
Right.
But they can't really hurt you. In the future, though, if somebody hacks into your head because it's connected to the internet, they can steal you.
Ha!
They could actually steal you.
And I was amazed that this guy was honest about that. You would think he would lie about that, but he was very honest with it. But see, you got to consider also why he's being honest about that, because of who he's talking to there.
They can implant memories in your head that you don't have. They could erase memories. They could control you in ways that you wouldn't even know you're being controlled.
Let me play that again for you folks so that this sinks in. I want this to sink in because this is what they're telling you to do right now. And here's the risk you run if you do it.
But they can't really hurt you. In the future, though, if somebody hacks into your head because it's connected to the internet, they can steal you. They could actually steal you. They can implant memories in your head that you don't have.
Yeah.
They could erase memories. They could control you in ways that you wouldn't even know you're being controlled.
No.
Is this scary? So I painted on the hand a heaven, but there is also a hell, right?
Notice that he continues to go back to the analogy of heaven and hell. You notice that he keeps going back and forth to that. And you notice that Q comes with this, it's going to be biblical and all this, everybody holding up Bibles, who knows what it actually says in those books that they're holding up. It could be a satanic Bible for all we know. Trump's holding up and, what's-her-name's holding one up as well. They probably are holding up the same satanic book Nancy Pelosi and that governor of New York, Cuomo's holding up a Bible and Trump's holding up a Bible. You notice that when they asked Trump, is that the Bible? He said, it's a Bible. Did you guys notice that when he went over in front of the church and they said something about the Bible, and he said, it's a Bible? That was not the Holy Bible that he was holding. It's the unholy Bible that Trump was holding up. Y'all better get up on game, man. I'm telling you.
Heaven and hell. We are on the cusp of this technology that is so powerful and has the potential to so radically transform our lives and our existence, and we have to be very careful about how we do this. We don't want people controlling us. So think about this.
Yeah, you want to
think
be the ones
very carefully.
us.
Everybody in this room are very smart people. You're all highly educated.
Right.
We are going to be making these decisions.
See, that's who he's talking to right there. These are very highly educated and very intelligent people. These TED Talks, this is where that Bill Gates does his talks, at these TED Talks. These are the most educated people in the world. These are, very highly educated people, and they work in all kinds, computerized, nanotechnology, all this, crazy, advanced, futuristic technologies and stuff that we hear about. He's talking to these people who are developing that.
Groundwork for this technology in our lifetime.
In our lifetime. So, I'm going to leave it right there, folks. Just, I would encourage you to listen to what this guy said in these TED Talks here about, where they're wanting to take it. He said we're on the cusp. And this was I don't know how many years ago that was, but they're no longer on the cusp. They've already done these things. And I could show you another video where a guy is talking about they've already done this in lab experiments with rats, where they have put the implant in the rat's brain and the rat communicated with another rat in another laboratory. They've already done all these things that this guy's talking about with animals. And they're about to use a bigger group of animals to do this, us. And Q is doing it right now. X22 report showed you the Q post that is directing you to go get uploaded. That's what I believe. And I believe that the true reporting, this is the story. This is the narrative that they're going to push, to once everybody's uploaded, or, enough people are uploaded into this Internet of Things, and they activate that 5G network to run the grid for the AI world, you're going to become part of everything. Oh, just like the guy said. Don't do that if you're not ready to become part of everything, because it's probably going to be a very strange experience, and if you try to escape once you get in it, you won't be able to, is my concern. So that's it. I'm going to go ahead and leave it right there. I hope you guys will go back and listen to what this guy said in the TED Talks, and listen to what Thomas and X22 report are doing with sending you to this YouTube video that they want you to bring the outside world and the inside world together. And this other video where he talks about he's here to take us home and soon we'll remember everything. You just heard what the man said about implanting memories, right? Now, this Laka person is telling us that soon we'll remember everything. Sounds to me a lot like the TED Talks, warning us that people will be able to implant. Look, he the way this guy in the TED Talks, explains it, we have to watch out for hackers. But I say to you, it's not the hackers you're going to have to look out for, because the government is going to be in control of this technology. It's not the hackers that want to imprison you, and it's not the hackers that are going to be hacking into your brain from some kid sitting in his basement. No. These people, again, are highly educated that he's talking to. Those are the people who will be controlling this technology, along with the government. These people are all part of the government. They're part of the Bill Gates. They're part of the New World Order society that we're being ushered into right now. I'm going to leave it right there. God bless you guys. Please take care of yourselves and take care of the people that you love, man, and be careful. I know exactly how they're doing all of this. And this is the point. This high frequency thing that they're talking about, where your outside world and your inside world are going to come together, and that, all of this, it goes hand in hand. Trump has been saying that he's going to get rid of racism. He's going to, oh, what, you think I'm kidding? Watch. I'm not kidding. Trump said that he is going to get rid of racism by changing our mindsets or something. Listen to this. Listen to this. This is Dave, X22 report. And Dave's one of the biggest, here we go one, we go all movement channels. He's one of the biggest channels in that movement. Listen to this.
Remember, the deep state, the mainstream media, for even the children going through the school system, they keep talking about how we're divided, how there's racism everywhere. Everywhere you look, nobody gets along. Trump needs to reverse this train of thought.
Trump needs to reverse this train of thought. You're saying he's going to cure racism? You're telling me that Trump is going to cure racism. He's going to reverse. You heard what Dave just said. Did you not?
Remember, the deep state, the mainstream media, for even the children going through the school system, they keep talking about how we're divided. How there's racism everywhere. Everywhere you look, nobody gets along.
Nobody gets along.
Trump needs to reverse this train of thought.
He's going to reverse the train of thought that racism is born of. That's what Dave just said Trump has to do. Does that not strike you as strange? Listen, there is one, I can't think of anyone that could, besides the Lord, who could reverse a train of thought of a nation, of the world, aside from God, the Heavenly Father, Yahushua, Jesus, the Holy Spirit, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who could change the whole thoughts of the world. But God gives us free will, and even He won't violate that. So, but Trump is going to, he's got the cure to racism. Now, there is one character in the Bible that it talks about where the world will follow him and worship him, but that's the Antichrist, so that couldn't be, could it? Look, just want to show you this, because this is important. I'm going to show you how they plan to do this. This is how, folks, that high frequency thing they were talking about, and Laka saying that we're here to guide you home, and that, all these world, I'm going to show you how they plan to do that. Look at this. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the TED Talks, but the TED Talks are these talks by these high power, very powerful, very, very wealthy, the most brilliant minds in the world, and I'm not calling Bill Gates one of the most brilliant minds in the world. I think that guy's an idiot, but I think that he serves a very satanic purpose, and there's a reason for him. But the TED Talks, the people that Bill Gates speaks to, these are very highly educated people, and they are the most brilliant minds that we have in this world who attend these TED Talks. And so I want to show you, because this is how they're going to bring that outside world and that inside world they're talking about, that Laka's talking about, this Laka character that they're going to introduce to you as it's a lie. They're going to say he's from another planet, or they're going to say he's Jesus. Something is up their sleeve that is diabolical and reprehensible. It's disgusting, it's repugnant, but it's coming. Anyway, this is how they plan to have you, you're going to be programmed for this without your permission. That outside world, that inside world come together, and then this is how they do it. This is how they're going to do it. This was years ago at a TED Talk.
So, mind-to-mind communication.
Mind to mind.
This is something of science fiction that we all read about.
Used to be.
But this is actually possible today, as I just showed you.
Back then.
So there will come a point where if we have a chip in our brain, and you out there have a chip in your brain, we can communicate. We can communicate without talking. We can communicate when you're halfway around the world. And we can exchange knowledge. So,
more than knowledge.
If you look at a world where we have these chips that are connected to the internet, all of a sudden, every piece of information on the internet becomes accessible to our minds. Now, when we look back at today and we have to go to Baidu or Google and type it in, that will seem so primitive. Nobody will do that. You will just think, what knowledge do I need? And it will appear there.
And the Bible does talk about knowledge will increase in the end of the last days. Knowledge will increase. Now think about what he just said. Then they can do this. And this is an old video from a TED Talk. It's on YouTube, and it's been on there for a very long time. But think about that. In the end times, knowledge will increase.
For you to use. But it gets even weirder.
It does.
Stranger.
Yes.
Because we will not only be able to transfer knowledge, but we will be able to transfer memories. Now, so you could have an experience like skydiving, and all of a sudden you could transfer that experience to a friend, and all of a sudden they have experienced what you have experienced.
Wow. Now, what if your friend is terrified of heights and your experience scares him to death? He has a heart attack and dies because you transferred that memory or that experience, not the memory, the experience of skydiving to someone who's terrified of heights. Listen, the problem with all of this, where they're wanting to take us with this, and not where they're wanting to take us, Dave at the X22 report and Dumb Thomas at the True Reporting just showed you this is where they're taking you, whether you want to go or not. And now I know what you're thinking right now. You're thinking, well, I don't have a chip in my brain. What if you don't have to? What if since these TED Talks and this, where they were at with the technology then, what if since then they've discovered another way to where they don't need, or what if they just didn't mention it right here, that there's another way to bring the outside world and the inside world together for you that doesn't require a chip? And I'm not saying that it's because of anything that they've been spraying from the airplanes with, that we call chemtrails. We don't really know if they're chemicals or if they're nanobots or whatever. Oops, I hope I didn't just give something away. But I'm going to show you something right now that may give you some perspective on, maybe you won't feel so at ease about, well, I don't have a chip in my brain. Maybe you don't have to. And I just want to show you why I say that real quick. There is a very real thing called smart dust. Smart dust. And, listen, with this whole 5G network that they're rolling out for the infrastructure of the new AI-controlled world that we're about to enter into, there are things called nanobots, and there are things called smart dust that contain nanobots. Here, this guy will explain this to you.
Smart cities in the future will take this low power, inexpensive, small technology and basically distribute it everywhere.
But smart dust will also allow buildings and streets to recognize you and respond accordingly.
I think increasingly the environment will respond to who we are and adapt in consequence.
The city will know where you are if you want it to.
Your workplace will know you. Smart dust at the entrance will boot up your computer. And smart dust embedded in the elevator doors will automatically ring your floor.
Smart dust is going to sense the environment and allow us to improve the way that we live our lives.
Yeah.
No matter how we live in the future city, it will be radically different.
Oh, I'm sure of that. So that's smart dust. Now, but there's more on that because, they say smart dust in the city. Smart dust, it's everywhere. Maybe even in us. Where'd the smart dust come from? I don't know if it came from the planes that are releasing the chemtrails or not, but I know that there's smart dust that helps them run this AI world and recognize you. But I want to go back for a second before I let you guys go and focus on that video that True Reporting put out, that weird, strange letter from this alien being Laka. They made it sound, they didn't say this is an alien, but they intentionally used words like we, make it sound like it's more than one person who wrote this message to humanity, and this Laka person saying we, and then also there was also something written that I actually copied at the bottom of that tweet that this, and again, they didn't come right out and say that this person is an alien from another planet, but they said things that would lead you to believe, that implied that, that was the case. And so, but there was this little thing that it said, and I can't read it, but can't pronounce it, but I copied it down, and I want to share this with you guys because this is just weird. N-E-K-M-I-A. I don't know what that means. I have no idea what that is, but if you start typing it in, and this was off the Laka tweet. If you type it in on Google, it finishes for you. Even though I've never entered it in before, it's a new, but it finishes this for you, the search, and it brings this up. And then you've got all this stuff that comes up. I love you so, I guess is what that means.